Welcome to Easy Math TV. We're going to be graphing from an equation today in Excel in two variables, x and y. So let's get right to it. Our goal is to use the spreadsheet to graph a function given an equation. So here's our question. Make a graph of the function f of x equals 3x plus 5 for x in the closed interval 0, 10. So there's a lot to unpack there just to understand in the question. What is this f parenthesis x thing? We've never explained that before. F parenthesis x is just naming a function. That's all it is. So I'm just going to type that in. F parenthesis x is the name of a function. That's all it is. You don't need to know anything more than that. It is the same thing. We treat it the same thing. It is the same as our variable y. Okay, so there's nothing magical about that. It's just a name. It's identifying x as the variable that everything is written in terms of. Okay, that's all it does. What about that bracket thing there? So when you see square brackets, a left square bracket and a right square bracket, that means that it's something called a closed interval. So the interval in question starts with x equals 0 and it ends with x equals 10, and it includes both the 0 and the 10. So the square bracket is called a closed interval, and it goes from 0 to 10. So you can actually see that we've included those x values over here in column A in our spreadsheet. And we're just basically selecting all of the values from 0, all of the integer values from 0 to 10. We had an option there. We didn't have to choose all integer values from 0 to 10, but I just decided to do that because it's pretty easy in Excel to just include all those values. Another thing that's going to be new for today is something called a fixed reference. And I just wanted to point that out really quickly because we're going to be using column C and column D to just type in our slope, M, and our intercept, B, because we're going to be able to use this spreadsheet now to graph any y equals mx plus b function. That's the nice thing about it, is I can use it again and again and again. So those two cells right there are reserved for our slope and our y-intercept. So when we go over here in column B and we start typing in formulas, we want, no matter what row we're in, whether we're in row 7 or row 4 or row 10, we want the slope to always come from C3, and we want the intercept to always come from D3. So we have to use a fixed reference. That's what that's called. So all you need to know is that instead of just calling this address here C3, we're going to be using dollar signs. A $ C and a $3 is called a fixed reference. And so we're going to use that for our slope. And then for our intercept, it's going to be $D, $3. All right. That's just something to know. Okay, so let's go over here. We have our first y value is in row 3. And as you can see, all in that particular row, all of our cells have a 3 in them, just because that's the first row. And I've typed equals $C, $3, that's my slope, times my x. My x is in A3, so there's your A3, plus $D, $3. So that is our first equation. M times x plus b actually looks like that in Excel. So I'm going to hit enter. And the cool thing is, once you enter that in and you're careful, you've checked, making sure that you put all the symbols in correctly, now you can just fill down. And all these numbers just get filled in automatically. Okay. So in the future, just to be interesting here, what if I change this to a 2? Notice that all those numbers get automatically updated. So that's pretty cool. All right. So let's see what the graph looks like. I'm just going to go to insert, and we're going to make a scatter plot with smooth lines. That's basically what we do. But you know what? Before we do that, let's make sure that we have our things selected that we want. And there we go. So I'm going to make this clearly, I'm going to clearly mark this because I have to turn this in as a homework assignment. So I was asked to make sure that I have the line labeled. I may even want to label some of these points, but there is my graph for x values from 0 to 10. You can even see that x goes from 0 to 10, and there's your graph. So again, if you please like, subscribe, comment to these videos. The more, share it. Please share these videos with other people. I would really like to get a little bit more people involved in making math a little more practical, a little more easy to understand and accessible to all. Thank you very much.